If only I had Spidey senses, so I can tell when something's wrong. Oh, and I'm set to protect this heart from breaking into pieces. Where's my hammer? Where's the shield? Oh, the strength to carry the weight of the world. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall.
What's going on, everybody? It is another episode of Snap Decisions. I am your Snap DJ, your host with the most, coming to you live on this gray and damp and dark Tuesday here. Good day to stay inside. Not really necessarily a good day to be on vacation. But yeah, welcome wherever you may be listening, watching, whatever the case might be. Just some stuff to go over really quickly here before I get into it. First off, if you haven't already, I did do a video yesterday with Kier Nimbus, who's been on my channel 3 times now. Awesome guest. Make sure you check that out. That is out now on YouTube and, of course, on Spotify for your listening pleasure. So check that out. It was a cool conversation that we had. We talked about a lot of the upcoming things there. So we went over the We Are Venom season, if that's what they're calling it. I still don't know if that's true or confirmed yet. We went over a lot of those cards. We went into a lot of data mine stuff. So there's some data mine stuff about snap packs and Shuri's lab. And there's even data mines out there about upcoming cards that are from not just the Venom season, but also then from the Thor season that we've seen. Yes. But then we're getting stuff from a possible season of 1 million BC Avengers. We're getting data mines of stuff like Captain America's shield. Are we getting like artifacts in this game? Oh my God, I'd be thrilled. It'd be like stuff like it'd be reminding me of Magic at that point, because Magic and Hearthstone, of course, too. But Magic used to have weapons and things that you could attach to characters and stuff like that. I think that would be awesome. So I don't know. We're also getting like a Bruce Banner card. We're getting a Thaddeus Ross card. So, and their cards are already in the game. Now I know the Bruce Banner one may be coming with the Marvel Rivals set because it's Bruce Banner Hulk. So that may be that, but Thaddeus Ross certainly is not. So I don't know how they would incorporate that. I still think we came up with some really cool theories. Go and check that out. It was a fun stream with Kier, and make sure you check out his pod as well, the Infinite NOT podcast. So a lot of fun and an easy listen. If you're driving home or something like that, it's 20-25 minutes long. It's really cool, and just a great dude. He's been on the show a bunch. Okay, so for me this coming week, of course we have today. And then I have a guest tomorrow. It's Lufku, who has never been on the program before. So I have him tomorrow, which will be a lot of fun. I love those first-time guests that I've never gotten a chance to talk to. So that will be tomorrow night. Should be out on YouTube probably roughly about 10-ish, maybe a little later. And Spotify probably around that same time. So make sure you check that out. And then on Thursday, there's another OTA. This Thursday. So unless it gets canceled or something, but that was the initial date that was planned to have an OTA. So I don't know what that'll be or what they might fix or, change for that. We already got a lot of changes with the Hell Cow and the Black Swan and all that stuff this past one. So we'll have to see what exactly that's going to be, but there is one scheduled. So unless that changes, as always, I will have my OTA report out after that. Probably sometime later in the afternoon. They haven't been coming out lately until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in and around that time. So if that's the case, it'll be out a little bit after that, but I will have that out. Now, that's not going to be on YouTube as of yet. That's a small, short little thing. Although, I don't know. YouTube seems to like shorts now. So I don't know. Maybe that could end up being a short video that I put out, but we'll have to see. But all right, let's get into it, shall we? We've got a lot to talk about today. Your things that you're normally used to seeing here. So the meta report, my week in Snap, including my variants that I've gotten over the week. And also that will include the bundles as well. We'll go over those and see what kind of bundles are coming out, including one that has me quite upset. Quite upset, and you'll find out why. We're also going to talk today about, we have a top 5, and the top 5 is Spiderverse centered. I mean, this is a Spidey month, right? So why not do my top 5 favorite Spiderverse cards in Marvel Snap? So that is the top 5 today that's coming up. And then, of course, we have Comics Corner, and it is a big one. And you know what? I'm excited for this Comics Corner because it is one of my favorite characters in comics. And look, one of my favorite all-time. Look, I know a lot of people may hate this story. That people do. They dislike it, and that's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. But to each their own, kind of a thing. I have always enjoyed it, and it's the of course Scarlet Spider and the Clone Saga. I'm going to tell you why I liked it, because it leads back. This goes, I don't know if people know this, but Scarlet Spider's character goes back to 1975, which is insane to me. But it's true. And I'll get into all of it, and we'll find out the very long history of Scarlet Spider and where indeed he came from. Ben Reilly, who we come to know him as outside of that hoodie, the Kmart hoodie Spider-Man. But that card comes out today, so we'll talk all about him in Comics Corner and talk about him as well with the new card. And then, of course, we will finish up today with an MCU Minute, which might go a bit longer because there's a lot of news in the MCU. We got the Agatha series starting, part 1 and 2, which I really, really enjoyed. I thought it was great. We have a lot of news about Tom Holland's contract. We have news about we got the Thunderbolts trailer as well. Now, that was seen at Disney, the Disney Con, but no one got to see it outside of that. So, people got clips and pictures and bits and pieces, but they released the full trailer. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that too. So MCU Minute might be a little more today. So, okay, as always, you can see up on the screen, I am honored to be part of the Snap Judgments Network podcast lineup. That includes the Kid Snap, and that's How Can She Snap, of course, the Kid and No Big Deal. The Kid is back from vacation, so make sure you check out their latest pod. The Kid has returned from his trip across the world someplace. I don't know. He came back speaking a little Italian, so I'm kind of guessing he visited Italy. And then, of course, Snap on this, an amazing, amazing pod. Just started. I think they're going on to their 5th or 6th episode now. That is Lauren Whatevs, Ree, and Ben Roller. Great pod, a lot of fun. I was laughing at one of the little things they did this past week on there, so go check that out. That's out every Friday, as you can see up on the calendar. Mine is Tuesday, they're on Friday. The Kid is Sunday, How Can She Snap? And then, of course, the parent pod, Glazer himself, Snap Judgments, every single Saturday. Check him out. He's always got great guests lined up for that pod. A lot of great creators, high infinite players, such as Lambie, and he's had Binks and Regis Kilbin on there, who, by the way, is coming on my show. I'm so excited to have Regis Kilbin coming on my show as one of my guests in October. Very, very excited. He's one of my favorite streamers to watch. He's always having fun, and I love that. And he's great at what he does. So I can't wait to have him on the show, and that'll be sometime in October, second week of October or so. This is my pre-birthday stream. Happy birthday to me. Tomorrow is my birthday. doing nothing at all. When you get older, birthdays kind of diminish. Number one, you don't usually want to have them because you're getting older. But, number two, it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, I got to see my oldest daughter and her partner were here over the weekend. They got me a gift and gave me a card and stuff like that. So we had got to see them. I got to see my youngest out of college, which is cool. I haven't seen her since she went back to school. She loves it out there, and I could see why. Her apartment where they live, oh my God, it's gorgeous. Like nothing I ever saw. I had this little, when I was in Penn State back in the day, at State College, I had this little, now this is 1988, no, 1989. We had this, what we thought was awesome back in the day was this, we had a three bedroom apartment, which was nice. I had my own bedroom and stuff like that. But, the living room was all in one side. And then you had this little hallway, which was basically a kitchen. You had your fridge on one side and you had to turn around and do your dishes on the other side, very, very small. The bathroom was kind of tiny itself, too. And the bedrooms were small. And then we had, of course, the staircase that led down. We had a little patio on the outside. So it wasn't horrible. But then I went and looked at hers and I'm like, oh, my God, it's like a house. Like literally, I could see why she wants to stay. Like her room there is bigger than it is at our house. Like, holy cow, this is gorgeous. Like a big patio porch, big backyard. I mean, man, with these colleges now, granted, they're charging a crap ton of money for these things that they have to pay for. As part of their the amount that they have to pay to go to school. But holy cow! Now I know why she doesn't like to come home. I wouldn't either. But yeah, so I got to see my kids, and yeah, so that was a good thing. And then yeah, so I will be, if you want to know, I will be 55, the big 55 years old. Crazy, man. I'm midway through my 50s. And I'll be 60 before I know it. Space Monkey Entertainment, welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for wishing me a happy birthday. I appreciate that. But yes, I will be 55, and I don't look a day over 48. Let's just say that. So okay. All right. So yeah. So check out these great pods on that lineup there. They're all awesome. If you don't listen to them already, they are really, really fantastic at what they do. And look, they're all on audio and stuff like that. You can listen on your way to work. That's what I do all the time. I love podcasts. I listen to them on my way to work and way home and stuff like that. It's great. I have like a half-hour drive to work, so it's perfect. I get to listen to all of that stuff. So check all these pods out. And it's, as I say, it's your one-stop shop for all the podcasting that you need. Okay. We're going to get into it here. And, of course, those are the logos. We're going to get into it. This is, of course, my week in Snap and the Meta Report. So normally on the radio, you would say, this is the Meta Report brought to you by, well, I have nothing to really bring to you by. I don't have a sponsor or anything like that. So I'll just give you some kind of product that I enjoy. You know what? Yesterday I had Subway. So there you go. So Subway, if you want to make one up, I had a chicken flatbread, chicken teriyaki flatbread sandwich yesterday from Subway. It's very good. I like their chicken teriyaki. I always have. So there you go. If you want to pretend we're doing radio. Okay. So this is my week in Snap, how it's gone, decks I'm playing and all that stuff. So let's start with some decks. And now this came about because of Arana. I tried Arana in a few decks. I tried her in, I'm not a move guy. I'm just not, I've come to grips with that. I talked to Kieran Nimbus about that on the show yesterday, and he mentioned it too. And neither one of us are big fans of move. And I think that's kind of why I had come to the conclusion, and I put this out on Twitter, that I'm not really as enthused about this month as I may have been going into it. I think it's a little lackluster to me, and people can agree or disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. I think the people who like move a lot really are going to love this month and all the Spidey cards and stuff that we got. Also, Spider-Man fans. I mean, it's just cool getting Spider-Man stuff. But I tended to feel that this month has been a little underwhelming. I love Symbiote Spider-Man and everything he did. Of course, I got to play Galactus and that whole thing. And then the people doing stuff with Black Panther and all those big, huge Black Panther plays and all that kind of stuff. So he was cool. Madam Web, I just have no use for. I tried her in a Lockjaw deck and stuff, and it was okay, but I just have no use for him, or her, rather. I'm not I'm not really enthused by it. I don't have much of a, desire to play the card. And then, of course, Arana, again, I found her to be fun in this deck. She worked really well. This is a Phoenix Force variant deck. I won a bunch of games with her with this, so this worked very well for me. Now, this is a little different than your normal Phoenix Force list. So for all you audio listeners out there, who I apologize if I missed this on the previous shows, this deck is comprised of Arana, Deadpool, X-23, Carnage, Wolverine, Hulkbuster, Killmonger, Venom, Atuma, Nimrod, Null, and Death. So kind of similar to other ones, of course, but you don't have the I'm sorry, what am I saying? This is not the Phoenix Force list. Duh. There's no Phoenix Force in this. This is just a destroy list. This is a variant of a destroy list. My bad. See, I'm turning 55. I'm having old man moments already. No, this is the destroyed deck that I was messing around with. So it's basically your standard run-of-the-mill destroy deck, except a couple different cards. The Wolverine is in here. The Atuma is in here to blow up the Nimrods and stuff like that. So a little bit different than your standard destroy deck. I don't play destroy much. In fact, I usually criticize destroy a lot, but I don't know. This one and the Phoenix Force list are the only two that I found that really worked well with Arana. And that, now I didn't try move deck, so I really don't know. I did also try her in a surfer list as well, but again, it just didn't hit. And it seemed like she took the place of cards that it should have had. So I don't know. I originally had said Arana was going to be the best card of this month. I don't know if I'm going to end up going back on that, because at least for me, so far for me, it's been Symbiote Spider-Man. I just don't play move enough to have a lot of uses for Madam Web. And Arana is another one. Silver Sable was pretty good. I use her in Clog. And so I don't know, like right now it's kind of all mixed up the way I ranked it and stuff like that. I just kind of overrated the cards. But listen, when you make like top fives and stuff like that, like your personal ones, lists are all going to be different for that particular reason, because everybody plays this game in a different way. And I'll be honest, like even when I did my missions, not this weekend, but the weekend before, when I had to do the missions and it was all move stuff, I hated it. I literally hated it. I lost so many games because I'm not good at move and I just don't like playing it. So I couldn't stand it. I was glad when I finally won the required amount of games that I needed to win to get through it, because I hate move. I just don't like it. It's move and bounce are like right at the bottom of my list for decks to play. I don't like either one. And I have said that, all credit is due to the players who love those decks because they take a lot of brain power to play. Plain and simple. I used to watch Molt play a lot of move. And he loves it. God bless. It's if he gets it and he enjoys playing now, then hats off to him. And I know Lambie was really, really good at bounce. Glazer loves to play bounce. I don't want to think when I'm playing a 3-minute game. Maybe that's wrong of me, but I don't enjoy like having to sit there and think about, all right, I got to move this here because then this is going to go here and then this is going to go here. Oddly enough, I was playing last night and I was playing a deck. I'll have to look it up and see. But anyway, the deck had Shang-Chi. And I know not many people are playing Shang-Chi anymore, but the person who was playing me was playing a just standard move list with Heimdall and Human Torch and all that kind of stuff, Dagger, But it was so easy for me to predict where they were going to go. I knew that, planned that he'd have that Heimdall. The one game I lost to the person, I lost because he didn't have Heimdall and I planned for it. But I planned for the Heimdall. I knew because he was filling his lanes. He didn't have Madam Web, and I knew where everything was going to go. I just, I would lose priority, of course, because he would have the big dagger out. He'd have the big vulture out, and he'd have priority. So all I had to do was wait for him to push his stuff to the left, and him or her or whoever, push your stuff to the left. I'd line up. I'd make sure that I was playing in the lane where I knew he was going to put Heimdall and just have enough power to beat Heimdall. And then I'd have Shang-Chi waiting in the other lane. And easy enough. It was so easy to beat them that I was like, I lost one match in a Conquest game to them. They stayed the entire time, and I lost one cube. And that was because they got the, that was because that I didn't, oh no, it's because I didn't get my Shang-Chi. But to me, it's just so easily telegraphed and so easy to see what you're doing. Madam Web makes that a little more difficult because she can move the other stuff around. So I'm guessing if you're going to play that type of deck, you have to have Madam Web in that deck. The Heimdall thing is just not, it's just not good. I've said this before. For a finisher for move, Heimdall's not it. He's just not it. They are just so easy to telegraph that. And you just know where to play. And if you don't have priority, you're getting that last turn. So yeah, you're always going to be able to, whether it's a Shadow King or whether it's a Shang-Chi, you're going to be able to just stop that. And so, Phoenix Force, I think, is the better one with Arana in it. But so far, that is really the only place I've really seen her come into play very much, are those two decks, at least for me. So I was a little surprised. I still think she's a good card. I mean, she's basically a Forge. I just don't know that people necessarily have found the right place to use her yet. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. So maybe it's just with some of these cards, just got to give it time down the road and see. But anyway, so this was my Destroy list that I played a few games with. I've never been a big Destroy fan, so I didn't play a lot, but a few games with this one. Most of the time when I won because of the big Nolan death, because of all the destruction Atuma was causing and the Nimrods flying around and stuff like that. So, okay. This is called, this is a War Machine deck. They're still around pretty much. People are still playing War Machine Lockdown. I have seen that quite a bit still out there in the meta. This is just a big dude's War Machine deck. So you got Silver Sable, Ebony Maw for that. He's a very sneaky win condition in this deck because that 1/7 can just win you a lane. Madam Web's in this to move things around. Armor, Electro, Kyera to protect all your big dudes. War Machine, Cull, Blink, Eliath, Scar, and Infinite. And Infinite, of course, goes in hand with the War Machine, Infinite, and Ebony Maw as well. I'd imagine you could change out Silver Sable for probably something else. I don't know that she's definitely necessary in this deck. She's more of a clog card because she takes that negative power. I was playing a negative Evo deck yesterday, which is kind of nasty, that had her in there. But this is just no more than you're just getting out big power, right? You're just getting out big power. The Blink can blink in an Infinite or a Scar. You can get a very discounted Scar if you get the Cull out early. You got an Eliath there to kind of clean up at the end and stuff, and Armor to protect everything, Kyera to protect the other lanes, Armor to protect the one lane. So you can mess around with this a little bit too. Like I said, Silver Sable can probably be replaced. Armor could probably be replaced too because you got Kyera in there really as well. It's almost kind of like a double thing there. Electro is just going to give you quicker, faster turns, but also Electro plays well with War Machine. If you get War Machine out in turn 4 after Electro, the Electro thing doesn't hurt you. You could play anything wherever you want to. Yeah, so it's interesting little deck. It's kind of fun. It's kind of along the lines of that, Gunny T created long ago, that Big Dumb Idiots deck. Very similar. You just got big cards in here, 2 10s and 11 and 20. The War Machine's just nice to let you play anything when you want. All right, here we go. This is the oops. Again, I almost did it again. Did I read all the cards up? Yeah, I read all the cards up this. Yeah, okay. This is the Phoenix Force deck I was talking about with Arana. So this is the one I had some fun with. Now, I don't normally play this. The kid from the How Can She Snap podcast, he's into Phoenix Force big time. I never really was. Because again, it's move, but this is an easier move deck to play. So Arana, very good in this deck. Very, very good. Now, Ghost Spider is bugged. I don't know if she still is. But when I played her, it didn't seem like it. So I don't know if they went in there and fixed that, but she was bugged. But it's Arana, Ghost Spider, Human Torch, Carnage, Multiple Man, Venom, Deathlock, Shuri, Phoenix Force, Symbiote Spider-Man, Nimrod, and Arnim Zola. You've got a bunch of play lines in here. You can Arana your Nimrod, and you can Shuri the Nimrod. I'm sorry, no, you can't do it that way. But you can Arana the Human Torch. You can Arana Multiple Man. That's your desired one. Human Torch is okay as a secondary thing, but you got to watch with Human Torch because people play Killmonger and people still play Shang-Chi, stuff like that. So you got to watch with Human Torch. The Multiple Man is the one you want because if you can Arana him, He's now a 2/5. Then you destroy him with Carnage or Venom. And then he comes back out with Phoenix Force as a 4/10. That's a 10 mover that you're going to get 10s in every spot. I had that happen a few times. That is your ultimate playlist for this. That is nasty. Absolutely nasty. You want even more hijinks? You could put down Symbiote Spider-Man. It's a little harder, though, to do because you don't have as many turns left to do it. Symbiote Spider-Man is in here mostly for Nimrod because that's going to play on curve. You can play Symbiote Spider-Man, you can play Nimrod next, and then you can play Zola. So that becomes a 12, and then you're just Zoling stuff all over the place. Maybe you have a Zola, and then you have a Carnage, something else to snap that up. But you have many, many play lines here. Shuri Nimrod. You can always do Shuri Nimrod, and then Carnage and Venom that on the last turn and swing them all over the place. But yeah, this was fun. I won a lot of games with this. It's very straightforward. Like I said, your biggest line is your God line here is you want that multiple man after Arana, play her, Carnage it, and then bring it back with Phoenix Force. That is your ultimate line in this deck. That is your snap line. If you see that, you have those cards in hand, you are snapping on this because a lot of people will retreat on this. So just be prepared for that. You will get a lot of retreats with this deck. If they see you have that multiple man and Carnage or Venomite, sometimes they will retreat right then because they know what's coming. And so you'll get a lot of retreats with this, but that is your God line to play. So this was fun. And I think for me, at least, the spot that I found Arana to be most useful with. So, all right, up next. Oh, everyone's going to love this one. Yes, I joined the dark side. Come to the dark side. This is Hela. And look, I knew this was going to happen. I said it. I warned everybody. Hela's back, and she's back to stay. And with that Hell Cow play, goodness gracious, is this nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty deck. If you don't know by now, Hell Cow, basically you play him out on turn 4. You let him sit there until you got your last turn. A lot of times in your last turn, you have that Hela in your hand ready to go. You've got Hell Cow, which you can play to discard 2 more cards from your hand. So let's say you have 3 cards in your hand. Let's say you have an Infinite. Let's say you have a Magneto in your hand that you couldn't get rid of during the course of the game. You now are hitting that activate. You're playing your Hela. Hela goes off first. Hela goes off second. The activation happens first. You are getting rid of those other 2 cards, go to Hela, and you're getting every single one of those cards that you not only discarded with Blade and Lady Sif and Black Cat possibly, but you're getting those last 2 cards in your hand as well. Nasty. Absolutely just disgusting. And I know people are pissed. I know people weren't happy that Hela is back in this way. Luke Cage is, of course, in here to save it from that drawback that she gets on the Hela card. I don't know. I know they made Hell Cow, and I know generally when they showed the Hell Cow change, they were showing it with standard discard, not with Hela. But boy, if you're not playing Hell Cow in your list, you're missing out because this is just disgusting with this deck. And I've won a lot. I got to 85 on ladder. Primarily because of this, because I told you guys I've been sitting in the 70s forever because I hadn't really played much ladder at all, but I got to 85 and it was primarily because of this. There are some decks that you'll have to retreat on. There are no question. If you see someone playing Clog, you're probably going to want to get out. Now, I stayed in and I did win one. I got lucky because they had me clogged except for 2. No, they had me clogged out of 1 lane. No. I was down to 1 card in each lane that I could fit. So I played Hela last turn, but I very much lucked out because I got my 2 biggest cards. I got Infinite and I got Giganto on the 2 other lanes, and I won both of those lanes because of that. So, but you got to be very careful with Clog. If you get a Clog opponent, you probably are going to be retreating because you can't have that. If they start junking up your lanes and stuff like that, you have no room to maneuver and get those cards back at the end of the game. So that is definitely a retreatable one. Also, the ones that are playing War Machine, with the War Machine lockdown with Storm again. Now, you can get over the Storm stuff, but if they're playing Legion, You have to be very careful with that too. So yeah, they're your probably your biggest two nemesis that you have to worry about. Everything else you're probably good against. I mean, I walloped Zudex. Trying to think of some of the other lists. Thena, Angela, beat them. I even beat some Arishem lists and stuff with this. So this is going to be pretty good in the meta, and it's going to be probably one of the higher meta decks. I don't know if they're going to do anything this coming week OTA-wise to do anything with any of these cards. I kind of doubt it. But Hela is back, folks. Like it or not, she's back. So this list is Blade, Luke Cage, Lady Sif, Jubilee, Hellcow, Black Cat, Blink, Hela, Magneto, Giganto, Infinite, and Death. So pretty standard, except for the Hellcow, which is, like I said, just gross. And speaking of Clog, here's Clog. Played a little bit of this week, too. This is very good. The Hood, Silver Sable, Selene, Titania, White Widow, Hawkeye, Green Goblin, Beast, Viper. Viper Hood combo is nasty stuff. You want to use Selene when you've got Green Goblin in your hand, primarily. That's what you're hoping for, because then you get him to that 3-5. So that's pretty much why she's in. But she also hits one of your opponent's cards as well and makes it negative, and they won't be expecting it. So that does help you in the long run. The Doc Ock Cannonball play, you're out basically to clog lanes. That's what you're doing. The Kate Bishop will get you the Poison Arrow, which can clog the lane. The combo with Titania, and then having Silver Sable in there, and Vipering over the Hood, you can lock a lane down with just those cards. And White Widow as well to get that over that's your whole point. You can beast up a lot of the stuff if your lanes are locked. And there's, if your lanes have a bunch of cards, you can beast away them, bring the Hood back again for another one, bring Silver Sable back, whatever you need to do. This is a really good deck. You got Shang-Chi in here to take care of the big stuff. You got Doc Ock to clog the lane, and you got Cannonball to clean up at the very end. Nasty deck, and it's really, really good. If you're not into playing Hela or anything like that, it's a very, very good deck. All right. Zoo. I played some Zoo. Zoo is really good in Conquest, I found. So if you want to do Conquest, it's actually a pretty good deck. Very easy. This is very, very simple, very straightforward, very easy to play deck. Ant-Man, Silver Sable. Silver Sable can be exchanged out of here. You could put other cards in for her pretty easily and get her out of there. But, she is just one of those ones that Marvel Boy will hit. There are only 3 1 cards besides the arrows that you'll get to hit with Marvel Boy in here. Squirrel Girl, Dazzler, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Marvel Boy, Kyera, Shauna, Khazar, Blue Marvel, Gilgamesh, Mockingbird. Your standard lines with this. The Squirrel Girls are going to help you get a cheap Mockingbird. Gilgamesh is your last turn play. That's going to win you games. If you get your God draw in this, and you get your Shauna into Khazar, into Blue Marvel, and then into Gilgamesh, and then you can get like a very cheap Mockingbird out at the end, you're going to win. I mean, Gilgamesh just gets big enough. Most of the Gilgamesh plays that I had, the Gilgamesh has been like 27 points on average, which is insane. You're just going to win lanes. And so this is still good. I will say, though, definitely play the Kyera. I've tried the version that there are versions out there. I think KM Best had a version of this where Cosmo was in it instead of Kyera. I didn't find that one to be very good. It's good against Destroy, but otherwise than that, I didn't find it to be very good. I know why it's in there. It's in there to combat like the symbiote Spidey stuff, but I don't really think it's needed. And Kyera is just way more important. I got waxed a few times by decks that had Destroy and stuff like that when I had the Cosmo in there because they just play around it and then they'd Killmonger me. That is death to this deck. Somebody has a Killmonger like they're playing Surfer, you're in big trouble. So the Kyera, I think, is necessary. She's much needed in the deck. So yeah, fun list and very easy to play. Very easy to play. Okay, all right. We're gonna look at some of the variants that I got this week. So that is up next. These are the decks that I've played so far, mostly this past week. Over on my channel and of course in the comments, let me know what decks you are enjoying playing this week. I love to see comments and stuff on the video. If you're watching out there now, I see there's 5 of you. Welcome. But if you are watching or listening, leave me some comments in the video. That helps the video as well. So do me the favor and leave me some comments. Let me know what decks you are enjoying playing right now. So, All right, so these are the variants that I was able to procure this week. So I got this Miles Morales cat. I don't ever remember seeing this one, actually. I think it's kind of old. It is a super rare, but it's Cat Miles. So, yeah, a little weird. He's very thin. I didn't even really notice that till now that I'm looking straight through that hole in his arms through the door. Holy crap, is he a thin-bodied cat? Wow. Big head, very, very thin body. So, yeah. So that's Miles' cat. I don't play with Miles much. In fact, hardly at all. He's not someone I use. Miles might need a change. Miles might need a change. He was very popular during Silky Smooth. And since then, not much at all. Miles might need a little help. He might need a bit of a change to the card. I love this one. The Kitty Pryde comic book cover, so cool how they did this one. Look at the ad on the top is what gets me, man. Gets me right here. Like the nostalgia gets me right. When the Columbia 10 speed bike ads, oh my God, they would run these all the time. And I've entered a few of these contests through the comic books. When you had to send a self-addressed stamped envelope, there was no internet. You were mailing letters, right? And a lot of times you'd have to clip something out of the comic, which I never wanted to do. And you couldn't copy things. We didn't have copiers that you could just go and take a picture of something and copy stuff on. You'd have to actually cut up the comic book. So a lot of times you'd have to buy 2 copies of the book, or let's just say it was a book you really didn't like, but I never wanted to deface the comic. I did enter a couple of those. I remember, of course, I've never won a damn thing, but look at how much comic books were, man. 60 cents. 60 cents. Right now, they're $2.95, $3, some over that for most of them. Man, crazy. I love this. This is just nostalgia at its best. And then the kitty, of course, with the thing there. And I believe that's supposed to be Morph swinging down at the bottom. And she says, and now for something completely different, holding the cola and popcorn in her hands, almost like she's you're in the theater and stuff. I love this one. This is now my permanent Kitty Pryde that I will use going forward. Have to get them inked though. A lot of these cards I didn't play enough to have any good splits for them, like gold or inked. But these comic ones, I'm going to have to play with them a little more. So I have to get them inked. But yeah, this is a gorgeous variant. Love it. Lady Deathstrike, Dan Hip. I love my Dan Hips, and this is a fun one. I like this one. All the claws coming out at you in the front. And, of course, the classic Lady Deathstrike outfit, the armor and stuff that she wore, and the cape behind her. I like it. Dan Hip stuff, I know some people are kind of give or take on it, but I love Dan Hips. Plus, look, they're cheap. They're 700 gold variants. So they're cheap. They're easy to get. Sometimes you get them in the collection track and stuff too. But I love this one. I think it's really cool. Don't play with the card much, but I like it. Oh, a pixel. I keep, whenever I think I've got to have every pixel, right? I've got to. Nope. Another one comes along. This is good old Doc Ock in all his pixel glory here. It looks like he's on a bridge. It still looks like suspension bridge behind him. I don't know. Maybe they got the idea from the latest Spider-Man movie when they have that big battle on that highway and stuff, and they're near a bridge. So maybe that's what this is from. I'm not sure, or paying tribute to. Not a horrible pixel. You can make out his glasses and stuff like that, and his mouth and everything like that. And he doesn't have the chiclet's teeth, which is always good. And then the one claw digging into the ground and stuff. So it's not horrible. It's not horrible. Although Doc Ock in this one's kind of buff. He's kind of buff. Look at the muscles. You got the upper chest muscles going on there. Doc Ock's not usually very buff. He's not usually very buff, but this is very classic spandex Doc Ock from like the 70s and 80s. So yeah. Just when you think you got them all, nope. There's more pixels. I did buy this bundle. This is the Star-Lord bundle. This card's really nice. Really nice. It's like an outlaw Star-Lord. This must be from the comics at some point somewhere. But he's got, of course, you can see his helmet's on. He's got one of the glowing eyes, the other out. And then I love the portrait on the side, like the blue portrait of his face and stuff like that on the side of him. There's, of course, their ship on the left. I like this. I think this is really, really lovely artwork. And like I said, I'm imagining this is from a comic book, but it's really, really nice. Not that I'll ever play it. Star-Lord doesn't see play, and we don't have that Guardians deck being played anymore. But it's really cool. Oh, this one is amazing. Amazing Spider-Man, yes. Wow. This, when I saw this, now this is from the album Man, and I completed that. That's the first album, by the way, the Spider-Man one that I completed right off. Like right when it came out, I had every card because I have all the Spider-Man variants. And this is outstanding. Like, look at the webs coming out. It's got even the lines up the webs like Todd McFarlane used to draw in the comics. This is a gorgeous variant, man. Gorgeous. This is just stellar. I love this. And of course I had a gold border it. You can see a little bit of the background there with him. I tried it ink, but the ink just didn't come out at you like this one does. And then of course that red border that I had on my Spider-Man already, I had to attach it to that too. This is just outstanding. Best Spider-Man, I think, to me in the game right now. The best looking Spider-Man, I think, in the game right now. I absolutely love this. I think this is amazing. And this will be my Spider-Man variant going forward that I'm going to be using when I do use him, which is not very often, unfortunately. He's another one. He's such an iconic character. You know, we talk about characters that need to change. We talk about iconic characters like Captain America and stuff like that. He's another one I think that needs a change. I do. I mean, yeah, moving a card one lane, that doesn't thrill me. He should be better. He should be better. He's so iconic, such a better card, and all he really does is just move one card. I mean, I don't know. To me, I think he should do something better than that. My God, he's Marvel's most iconic hero. Just he's the one that's on everything, every ad for Marvel, every the one that most people want to see, that most people can relate with, children and adults alike. It just needs to be a better card, I think. All right, moving on. And there's the album. And just show you my album complete there. I had every one of these cards, as you can see. I have all the variants. I like almost all of his variants. The one across the bottom, the one on the left that's black and white, or that's inked for me, I like that one a lot. The one right next to it where Peter's taking off the mask, that was an anime variant. I like that one. The chibi is even okay. I mean, I'm not a big fan of chibis, but it's pretty cool. And then the Amazing Fantasy tribute cover on the right on the bottom is really cool. The Dan Hip one with the Spider Sense tingling thing I like. The Taro one is probably my least favorite. That's probably my least favorite. It's okay, though. It's just a weird gold and black color. That's the Midnight Suns one. I love the Peach Mamoko one as well to the right of that. The Hoodie Spider-Man, he's okay. Not my favorite. The one next to that's the one we got free, I remember, when they had the computer launch of the game, I think. And if you notice, the Pixel one's even cool. The Pixel one's not bad. If you notice here, look at the black suit Spider-Man one. That is Symbiote Spider-Man. I was wondering how they were going to play that, because he really should be a Symbiote Spider-Man variant. That's the Todd McFarlane iconic cover art with the black suit Spider-Man. So that is an iconic cover. And, really, technically, that shouldn't be a Spider-Man variant. It should be Symbiote Spider-Man, but they're not. I don't think they would change that or make that way because it came out so long before. So, and then, of course, I got these little emote thingies that are up here. I never use those. I even forget I have them. I never, ever use those to, people look at people's variants and that are out there, and they put the little smile on them and stuff like that and stuff. That is actually Iron Suit Spider-Man. It's hard to see here, but that's Iron Suit Spider-Man variant. Whatever they're called, those little emoji things, whatever. They're not emoji things. They're little things that you can compliment people's stuff with. But that is an Iron Spider, which I don't think we don't have that in the game. I don't believe. No, Spider-Man doesn't have the Iron Suit variant. So that might be one that might be coming down the line that we may see. Okay, I am now at 85. Yay. Maybe I'll make it back to 93 where I usually am, where I have been for the past 3 months after I hit Infinite. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I am on vacation until next Tuesday, so maybe I'll have the time to do it. And like I said, a lot of it is just about time. It's about how much you're playing the game and as to how far you can get. So never feel bad if you don't hit Infinite, guys. Never feel bad, because it does take time. It does take time. You can watch the streamers to see that for yourself. Some of them are played Infinite on day one, whether it be Teddy Ninja or sometimes Binks does it sometimes, but they take hours to get there. It's not just you're sitting down and playing a couple 3-4 minute games like Snap normally is. You have to sit there and dedicate time, because a lot of times you're going to have to retreat. You're going to have to back out of games, retreat for one cube, and then just go back to it and try to maximize your cubes to get there. So so I'm sitting at 85. We'll see. Like I said, my goal is, because this is it, right? We have this card, and then next Tuesday is the new season. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna have the time. We'll see. I will try to get at least to 90, and we'll see to keep my streak up with that anyway. All right. Let's move to bundles and talk about bundles. These are upcoming bundles that we're getting. Now, these are in the month of October. So this is called Battle of Bloodthirst. This is a $99 bundle, so $100 bundle. It has Morbius, Nightforged, and Nightforged Killmonger. Very cool variants for both. Avatars for each. Now this says 2 Web Black. I don't know what Web Black is, because it didn't show it in the data mines. I don't know if this is this a new border? Are they coming out with some kind of a web border? That'd be cool. I don't exactly know. I don't know what this is going to be, but it has 6,000 collector's tokens. They're at a premium. Gold's at a premium, 6,000. For the money here, you can see the value up there. The bundle value is 209%. That is pretty good value. So you are getting a lot of gold. You're getting a lot of tokens here, which are, like I said, both are very hard to get. If you're going to blow $100, and I know that's not easy for a lot of people, but if you're going to blow $100, this wouldn't be the worst thing to blow it on, because you are getting a lot of premium stuff here and 2 pretty cool variants. Killmonger does get used a lot. Morbius is pretty standard to that 1 discard list. So not the most useful cards maybe, but for the 6,000 and 6,000 and whatever those 2 Web Black things are, they may be borders. And if they are, people might want them. So, but we're going to come to another $99 bundle in a little bit that I'll show you that I'm very upset about. So the next one is called Scary Monsters and Nice Symbiotes. Now you'll see a theme here. This is Halloween month, obviously October. This one's only $10. I would tell you definitely always to look at the ones that are $10 and less, because most of the time you can see the bundle value is almost 300%. You're going to get 1,000 gold and 500 credits. So right there, that's worth the $10. Worth $10. You're getting a cool Venomized White Tiger for those of you who use her, being used a lot in Wong decks lately again, and you're getting an avatar as well. So the White Tiger is pretty cool for the $10. Definitely worth it. I would definitely tell you to probably get this one just for the resources. The Eldritch Swordsman. This is Black Knight, 5,000 gold. This is a gold bundle. You're getting 4,000 credits back. Boosters and avatar, I don't even really care about. And you're getting a Black Knight Peach Mamoko. The Black Knight Peach Mamoko is awesome. Very, very cool art. I just don't think this is worth 5,000 credits. I know the bundle value is 235%. The currency value is not good at all. You're swapping gold for 4,000 credits. I would skip this one. I would just flat out skip this one, unless you're just really a fan of Peach Momoko or a Black Knight player, which not a lot of people are, but I would probably skip this one, and I'm sure I will be. Caught Red-Handed. This is Carnage. Another good one. 258% bundle value, 125% currency value, $14.99. Again, like I said, the ones that are 10 and 15 are the ones you need to look at. 1,500 gold, good value. Web Red. We are getting web borders. I guarantee that's what these are. Have to be, right? Like, what else would be Web Red? Like, it has to be a border. And that's cool too. If they're giving us web to borders, I like it, man. I dig it. And Carnage is pretty cool. A lot of people like Carnage variants. Nicola Siviori, Carnage variant, and some boosters. So again, for this one, for whatever that Web Red thing is, the 1,500 gold alone and the Carnage card probably makes it worth the $15. I would say get it. A bit tongue-tied. Now this one again is gold. 2,000 gold this time. Nicola Siviori Venom this time. So you're getting a Venom variant. The Web Black, again, whatever that is, whether that's a border or something, I don't know. I don't know what the Web Black means. 2,000 credits, 2,000 gold in exchange for 2,000 credits. You can see the currency value is not good. It's 80%. I would tell you to skip this one. Unless whatever these Web Black and Web Red things are going to be, that they're worth it. But I would personally, gold is too much at a premium for me to spend 2,000 gold on 2,000 credits. So I would just pass on this. Malevolent Mutations. This one's $20. Mr. Sinister variant. Cosmic Red. Yeah, so these have to be borders. Yeah, these have to be borders. So they're getting webbed borders. And they are putting bundles. So, okay, I'll give it to them for this. They're putting borders in bundles. Okay, so that's okay. And again, this one is pretty good. $20, 1,000 credits, 1,200 gold, good value, currency value. You see if there's 125%. Bundle value is 234. So this one again, the 9, the 15, and even the 20 are pretty good here. Pretty good here. You are going to get a Cosmic Red border. And then the 1,000 and the 1,200 are pretty good value, I think, here for this one. Whether or not you're going to play Mr. Sinister, he's not played much unless you're even in. He gets played in Iron Patriot. Pretty much that's it. So, yeah. All right. Let me go to the next one. This is called Mighty Have Fallen. This is $19.99, so another $20 one. This is a Gamora, Venomized Gamora with an avatar. 2,000 collector tokens and 155 Gamora boosters. Now, this, according to this is Snap Zone, Marvel Snap Zone, 218% bundle value, 155% currency value. So pretty good numbers there. For $20, you're getting 2,000 tokens. So again, this one I would tell you to only go after if you want tokens. Gamora is not played, period. She's just not. Nobody plays her at all. Never played. So again, not a card you're really going to use much. And the avatar and Gamora and boosters, who cares? But you're basically spending the $20 for 2,000 tokens. So you just have to judge that on your own. Not one I'm going to be going after. You know the meme. This is Baron Zemo, $24.99. Bundle value on this one, 565%. And that's for the credits. You're paying $25 here for 3,500 credits and a Dancing Baron Zemo card. And again, this is another card. See, like a few months back, these cards would have been a lot more popular. But Baron Zemo, again, only being played in Mill. And Mill is not popular right now. I'm not seeing Mill at all. So, again, you got to determine, do you want those credits that much for the $25? Because that's really what it's going to be, unless you're a Mill player that you're going to have to determine or judge here. So, yeah, we'll see. But I personally, for me, this is a skip. I know the value is great on it. But for me, this is probably a skippable one just because of the fact that I don't play the card often and I'm never at a big primary need for credits. I've told you guys before, my thing with credits, I don't like to get above 10,000 credits because it's a pain in the butt to me, because then I have a bunch of little credit things that I can't open on the track. I don't like that. So I like to stick right around the 9,000, 10,000 range of credits. I don't like to go over that. And 3,500 credits can pop you up over that limit. And to me, that's more of a pain than it is anything else. So, yeah, for me, this is a skip. Second Snap anniversary. So this is their second anniversary. This is a nice one. Big value here. Big value. $10. I tell anyone to get this. You're getting a matte red border, 500 credits, 1,200 gold, and the Toon Pool Deadpool. So Deadpool riding a little bullet. Looks like the Mario Brothers bullet that he's riding there. That little bullet dude that attacks you in Super Mario. And this is the anniversary bundle. They tend to do this. They lower the price on the bundles here. I would definitely get this one. This is well worth the 1,200 gold and 500 credits. And who doesn't love Deadpool, right? Everybody loves Deadpool, so I'm sure everybody will get it just for that. $10, good value. I'd get this one. And this one, I am very, 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 did I say very, very angry. Very angry at this. Dominic, hello, Dominic. You're awesome. Never change. I look forward to listening to your pod. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. Thank you very much for coming out and spending some time and the wonderful words. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. I am so upset by this. I saw this got data mined, this nullified Galactus. Holy crap. Is this an amazing Galactus variant? I need it. They know they got me. I have no choice but to spend $100 here. I'm going to have to save some birthday money. I mean, the bundle is a good value at its core. The currency value is a good value. The bundle value is good. The spotlight caches are at a premium, 5,000 gold. So it is a good value, but it is $100. Killing me. You're killing me, Second Dinner. You're killing me. But I need it. And I get the avatar too. I got to buy it. I've got to start saving up, man. I've got till October 22nd, so I've got pretty much a full month to start socking some money away. And let's see, 4 weeks. What can I have? $20 a week, $25 a week. Sure, why not? I could just skip a couple meals out, right, and save up for it. But this is, you have to have it. I have every Galactus variant. There's no way I'm skipping this one, and it is damn cool, a Galactus variant. So, by the way, Second Dinner, and I say this every time a Galactus variant comes out, Second Dinner, please buff Galactus. Please. Hello, Dawn. Welcome. Hello, SMF206. Look, I take responsibility for what I said, but I really love your podcast, and I won't speak to you like this again. Can you please? Did I block you? Where did I block you? I hardly ever block anyone. What did I block you for? You must have said something really bad for me to block you. Where did I block you? Did I block you on Twitter? I apologize. Sometimes I block people on Twitter because I think they're bots. I have this is the thing I brought over from my wrestling channel, where I had people that you'd get a lot of bots on that Twitter, and I get a lot of people. So, if I blocked you there, let me know. Send me a DM to Twitter. Well, you can't. If it's Twitter, put your Twitter in the chat here, if you don't mind, and then I'll go and I'll find that, and if I unblocked you, I never block anyone unless somebody really offends me. I never unblock anyone. So, Dawn says, I was tempted. I don't have Galactus, but I need him. Oh, I know it's so hard, right? Like $100 is so hard to spend, but it's like, this is one of the few, though, I will say, for $100 that I think are worth it, because not only are you getting the awesome Galactus, but you're getting the cash keys. They are worth a lot of. If you look and see what your gold is, what it's worth, like keys are worth in gold. I think someone once said they're worth like 2,000. So right there, that's 4,000 gold, and then the 5,000 you're getting. So that's 9,000 gold equivalent that you're getting for this. So it's really not bad. It's really not bad. I was very mad they put it in a bundle, but it's really, really not bad. So please give the show a thumbs up. Yes, please do. Thank you, Don. Or Space Monkey. Thank you. That said that. Yeah. If you're watching, please thumbs up the video. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Likes on the video always help it. I would really, really appreciate you guys doing that. And thank you for coming out. I love the interaction. I really do. That's one of the reasons why I do this way now, because I really love the interaction with the people that are out there. So love it. Love it. Thank you for joining. Samsung is running a 50% off coupon right now for Samsung for what? For phones and stuff? Nice. All right. One more. Void Claw Vengeance. This is a Wolverine, nullified Wolverine, by the way. You're getting a Cosmic Red border, 3,000 collector's tokens, and 310 Wolverine boosters. This is one I'd probably tell you to skip unless you have the gold. Oh, through the App Store. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Okay, that's awesome, actually. So you'll get wow, that's cool. If that helps you get the bundle, there you go. That's badass. That's awesome. Apple never does anything like that. This has good value according to them, but I would probably tell you to skip this one. Again, unless you've got that 3,500 gold to plunk down for basically a Wolverine card and tokens and a border, probably tell you to skip it. So that's awesome, Dawn. That's awesome. Well, there you go. Save that, man. You can get it for you can get it for half price. That's amazing. All right, so there you go. We're gonna skip through that because that comes later. That's the MCU minute. You got a preview. Top 5 time. It's top 5 time, guys. This is my weekly top 5 best. It's not Pixel Variants anymore. No, we had to change that. My bad. This is weekly top 5 Spiderverse cards. Thank you to Lauren Whatevs, who gave me the idea for this. This is my weekly top 5 Spiderverse. Now, I picked these for a variety of reasons. People I liked in the comics, people I like in the movies, and also the art of the cards in particular. Not necessarily the way the cards play, as you can see here, because of Spider-Man 2099. He's not very good. But I have always loved Spider-Man 2099. I read his comics and always loved the character. When I saw him show up and be the big bad, basically, of the last Spider-Verse movie, I was all in. I'm like, damn, that's awesome. So to see him I hope sometime I get to see him on the big screen in an actual movie. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but I love Miguel O'Hara. I love the comic books. I love this character. I love the powers they gave him. I like a lot of the 2099 stuff that they do, but he is my number. Now, these may be out of order. I think they are, but he is my number 5. Number 4, Peach Momoko's Spider-Woman card. I like Spider-Woman. I always did. I always liked her, even from back when she, of course, the red costumes one most people recognize her with, the red and yellow. I liked her from back in the 70s or so. She'd been in a lot of Spider-Man comics throughout the years. I like the new version of her in the black and stuff like that too, and the younger Spider-Woman, because the older one went on to become Madam Web. So I just like her character. I always did. She's not necessarily, now they have her kind of related to Spider-Man with the whole Madam Web thing and whole Spider-Verse thing. They do relate her to him, but at the very beginning, she really wasn't. She wasn't really related to Spider-Man at all. They just came up with her as a completely different character, but I love the artwork on this card. The card's pretty good too. Not a bad card. I think an underrated card, I think, in a lot of ways, but I like her. I think she's pretty good. So Spider-Woman is my number 4. Number 3, I think, is Symbiote Spider-Man. I told you guys enough about this card when it came out and reasons why I love it on another show. This is just amazing. I have to get this sucker inked. I have to play with more of this to get it inked. This is just one of my favorite books of all time. The Secret Wars. It's coming out in a movie, which I'm thrilled with. I know it's not going to be based on this particular comic book. This was made to sell a movie. And look what's up at the top. Buy a limited 12-issue miniseries, little ad up there. I love that. But I love this character. I love Symbiote Spider-Man and the black suit Spider-Man. I just dig it, and I love this. So that is my number 3. Number 2, this is not number 2. Number 2 is Spider-Ham. I knew one was out of order. Number 2 is Spider-Ham. I, of course, introduced to him in the comics. I always loved him. I thought he was a pretty funny character. And, of course, now that he's in the Spider-Verse stuff, I love that even more. And this variant is just amazing. The goggles poking. When you see this in the game, and you have him split to the point of where he's 3D, and you see those goggles going back and forth, it's really cool. So I like Spider-Ham. I think he's just a really fun card, and he annoys the crap out of people when you play him. He always seems to hit that card you don't want him to hit. So he's fun. And then, of course, I showed you this before. Spider-Man is one of my all-time favorite, if not favorite, Marvel hero. Plain and simple. I read almost all of his comic books from when I was a kid in the 1970s to now. And I continue to read them. I caught up with all the issues of the Amazing Spider-Man up to now. So I love this character. This card is now my favorite one of him. I have loved him since I was a kid, and I was eating Spider-Man chewable vitamins to the point of where I was making my mom buy them. You all know Flintstone vitamins, right? Flintstone vitamins, they made a Spider-Man one, which were all little Spider-Man heads. And I made my mother buy me them because inside of the vitamins, there was a Spider-Man ring. So that was one of these little tin, like cheap Spider-Man face rings. Honest to God, when I was probably 6 or so years old, I wore that ring and never took it off. Never, ever took it off. That thing was so cheap. It made my finger green because of the tin, and it made my finger green. I loved it so much. My first Halloween costume as a kid, and my mom has pictures, was one of those old Don Cooper in the box plastic Spider-Man costumes, and the face looked like the 1960s animated series face. So it was very weird looking. It had bubbles in it because of like where the webbing would go when they would they'd stamp it on, and it would look like it looked really bad. And then of course the plastic thing. Oh my God. There were little plastic things that had the character's picture on them. Turned me into the Green Goblin, right? Yeah. But they had the character's picture on them. But let me tell you something. When you came home from going out on Halloween, especially if it was a warm night, you stunk. Like they were made of plastic. So when you got home and that plastic was soaked in sweat, you're like, oh, like get this thing off of me. But yeah, I am just a big fan of Spider-Man. I loved him from, I watched the 60s cartoon when that came out. I was out in like 1968, 69, I think. I was watching it in the early 70s when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I watched the original Spider-Man TV series, which now you can only find on YouTube. That Stan Lee absolutely hated, thought it was awful. I think it's fantastic. I love it. I still love it. It's very campy, very silly. Has one of the most, I love the theme music from it, by the way, which is, you know what? I might get in trouble for this, but who cares? I gotta play it. Every time I hear, here we go. Ready? All right, here we go. Let me play it here. Come on, man. Let's go. This is 70s personified, by the way, with this kind of stuff. Wait to hear the sax. All right, that's enough. I will get in trouble if I play the whole thing. That was the theme music from that. I love the show. I'm Nicholas Hammond. Let me tell you, Nicholas Hammond, he was a Broadway actor. This guy was a famous actor. He played a pretty good Peter Parker. I will give him that. And the series that. He played a good college-aged Peter Parker. And it was just a shame that the series didn't come out like a little bit later on when they could have had the technology to do it right. The stunt guy who played Spider-Man literally would do stunts on buildings, like would literally be swinging on buildings and stuff from rope because they had to do actual stunts. Like they had nothing to use, no digital stuff that they could plug in there. So, but I love the show, man. I thought it was great. Then you, of course, had Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends with Firestar and Iceman. You had the Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s. I loved it all. And I love the character. So that's the reason why this fit in really well with the episode and, of course, with the Spidey season. All right, we're moving on. And you know what time it is. My favorite time of the week on the show. It's Comics Corner time. And, man, do we have a lot to talk about in Comics Corner. We have Scarlet Spider-Man, Ben Reilly himself. And I am going to talk to you all about Ben Reilly Spider-Man. Guys, do you know that this dates back to 1975? This is what blew my mind when the clone stuff came out in the 90s. This blew my mind because the writers of this had to go back, 1990, let's say it came out in 95 just for the hell of it. I don't know if that's the year, but let's say that's they had to go back 20 years in Spider-Man comics to find this. This comic right here was the first appearance of what is Scarlet Spider. That other Spider-Man you see fighting Spider-Man on here, that is the clone. That is Ben Reilly. That is Scarlet Spider. Insane to me. It blows my mind. I own this comic. I don't have it anymore, but I did have it. My mom threw away a lot of my old books, and a lot of them were Spider-Man books. Not threw away, gave away. I was so mad. She did that when I went to college. But yeah, this blew my mind. When I read that, I'm like, I'm reading through, and I'm like, wait a minute. His clone, and then I'm thinking to myself, I know this. Where did this come from? And then I had to go up and I had to look up the book, and I'm like, oh my God, I remember reading this story. Now, this came out when I was 6. So I had this comic when it came out. So I was probably 6 or 7 years old. My grandparents used to buy me comics a lot. And I read this back then. I never would have thought they would have grabbed something from back then. And I'm going to show you why I never thought that this would happen. But this is freaking awesome. Now, I have pages in here from this book and little blurbs we're going to go through. I've also always have to give credit to the artists and the writers. Jerry Conway is the author of this, did a lot of Spider-Man stuff. Ross Andrew is the artist. Mike Esposito is the embellisher. Annette K. and Vanis C. colorist. Marv Wolfman is the editor. Now, a lot of these people are probably not even with us anymore, which is sad. And then, of course, Stan Lee right there with his name. But this is called Even If I Live, I Die, is the name of the title of the comic. And this is, of course, you're seeing, this is directly after. I remember the issue before this, too, because I had that as well. You can see on the left there, Spider-Man is fighting a villain called the Tarantula. We don't have him in Snap. We may get him someday. He's kind of a lesser-known villain, but he was always pretty cool. I think he was Spanish, and he wore this little thing, like a bandana on his head. He kind of looked like a swashbuckler, but he had shoes that had these points on the ends of them that were poison. So he basically had a sting and a spider on his outfit, which you could see there. But they were fighting on the Brooklyn Bridge, and he stung Spider-Man, and then he ended up putting him in chains, hanging him from the bridge. And you can see Spider-Man is still dazed after that battle. You can see the little things above his head that signify that he's woozy. And then you can see here that the Jackal is revealing himself to be Professor Warren here. Now, Professor Warren was a teacher of Peter Parker. We don't have the Jackal yet in the game either, which at some point I would imagine we'd get him. He's an iconic villain of Spider-Man. And you'll see here, Professor Warren, Peter Parker's biology teacher, but that's insane. In the back, you're seeing Gwen Stacy. Now, how can that be? Gwen died. Gwen died very famously in a Spider-Man comic book. I also had that as well. She was thrown off the bridge by the Green Goblin, and Spider-Man tried to save her. Of course, you know that whole thing. If you haven't seen it, he throws the web, tries to get to grab her with the web, but when he does, she buckles from the fall and snaps her neck, and then that's how Gwen dies in the comics. But you'll see as we go why Gwen is there. You see here the crushing hands at the defeat of the crushing defeat at the hands of the Jackal, striking typically from behind. He remembers that he also has poison claws, does the Jackal. So you can see that as he collapses here. He's just remembering a lot of this stuff. There you can see this is some other stuff. He's still woozy here. There's that chains hanging part from the Brooklyn Bridge. There's this fight with the tarantula down at the bottom. So he's remembering all of this stuff that's going on. And there's Professor Warren on the right-hand side. I'm not going to read all the captions, but you kind of get the gist. So this is just kind of a flashback at the last book. And now he's captured. He's a very famous villain capturing the hero. He's on the table, strapped down, you know, and then Jackal's there. Oh, it's you. Don't be so disappointed, Spider-Man. I've gone a great deal of trouble to bring you here today. And Spidey's cocky. Hooray, hooray. I'll tell you why, Parker. I hate you because you're young. I hate you because you were loved by Gwen Stacy, and I hate you because you let her die. So Jackal's pissed because he thinks that Spider-Man let her die, when in fact it was Spider-Man's fault. He tried to save her, that she died, not because he let her die. He was trying to save her, but she snapped her neck. So it was really, you know, so he obviously didn't see the whole goings on of what was happening there. From the day I first saw her, now that's Miles Warren as a professor. This gets a little creepy. This gets a little creepy. This is 70s stuff, remember? So it's dated and it gets a little creepy. He looks like, look at him. He looks like he's literally 70, doesn't he? Like gray hair, mustache. Like he looks old, right? And he's eyeing up this young student. I'm like, oh God. When I went back and read this, I'm like, this would never pass muster today. But from the day I first saw her, I admired her. She was a good student, bright and attentive. Perhaps she reminded me of the daughter I never had. Whatever the reason for that attraction, I felt drawn to her, protective, fatherly. And when she died, the next day was a blur, passing quickly until, Professor Warren, look at this. The cloning experiment succeeded. We've produced a living frog. So, wow, does that guy look crazy, huh? He's a little creepy too. Look at that smile on his face. But Miles Warren is a scientist, so obviously they're involved in a cloning experiment. They succeeded in cloning a frog. You can kind of see where this is going, right? You can kind of see where this is going. His admiration of Gwen dying, and now this experiment succeeded where they cloned a frog. Remember those tissue samples you and Ned Leeds asked me about, sir, but didn't take them, Parker. I did last issue. So there you see. And then you see him coming in, Professor, those samples I've cloned, both subjects, and they're human. So this guy didn't know what he was doing. He's cloning human beings. We have to destroy them at once, he says. Miles Warren just killed this dude because he's like, and he didn't remember even doing it. So he says, you, Lord in heaven, he's dead. I couldn't have killed him. Not me, not me, not me. It wasn't him. It was the Jackal. So, of course, he kills that dude because he wants him alive. They're the clones alive. Next several months, quite busy ones. And you can see him. He's working on these clones. And that's when he comes up. And he has, of course, the Jackal persona. So he's designing his claws and his costume and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the origin story of the Jackal, but also of these two clones. And then you see the recreation of a woman, and you're going to see here is its recreation of Gwen Stacy. So there you see, there is the famous Gwen Stacy clone. Now this, you will see Gwen Stacy's clone in very, very many comic books. She appears to Peter Parker in several of them. Peter completely distraught and out of his mind with grief. She ends up in a storyline where down the road, she ends up with Norman Osborn, it's crazy because Norman killed her. They even had Norman Osborn, like she was with him and she somehow had a baby with Norman, like very, very weird stuff. But there it is. That's the first appearance of Gwen Stacy's clone. in comics. And again, back in 1975. Made her a solemn promise. I'll punish the man who harms you, dear girl, and you shall witness his defeat and destruction. Now, this is after he tells Spider-Man this story, and now they're dumped in a sports stadium, I believe this was. I think it's Shea Stadium in New York City. And they're dumped there to Spider-Man. All right. Now, this gets confusing because you kind of don't know. This one's saying, who are you? The other one's saying, who are you? And where's the jackal? You don't know who is the real Peter Parker here. You just don't know. They're in the same exact costume. So it's very, very confusing. One hits the other, tells him he's nuts. And now, okay, now this one is from a newer book. This is when Peter discovers that this clone, after all of these years, is still alive. And the reason being is because in an issue after this one, let me go back here. In the issue after this one, okay, the two of them fight. You're made to assume the real Peter Parker wins the fight. And then he basically takes the clone and dumps him in a chimney stack and destroys him. So the clone is gone. That was what you were led to believe, that this clone is now dead. It's incinerated. It burned up in a fire. And that the other Spider-Man he's the one, right? He's Spider-Man. And then they end up twisting all this. They end up twisting around all this stuff. And now the reason why this other clone ends up coming back into the fray is because Aunt May was sick in a hospital and he hears about it. So this clone survived. This who comes to be Ben Reilly survived this being thrown in the chimney, survived this, and he's been alive for all these years and just comes out of hiding when he finds out Aunt May is sick. So then you're seeing this whole thing where, Peter goes nuts because he thinks that this dude is long dead and he thinks he's crazy. So, and then he doesn't know what's going on because there's been so many times where people have tried to do weird things to him, and then of course he throws him into the wall. And then you're seeing here now this, the two of them standing face to face saying, you're the clone. And this is just mind blowing because then at this point, you don't know. You're thinking, oh my God, was like the last 20 years of books. Was that the clone as Spider-Man all these years? Because the clone is telling him, you're the clone. And they're saying, you're the clone. They're going back and forth. So you have no idea. And it was blowing my mind. I was like, are you serious? Like the Spider-Man that was in the books for the last 20 years that I've read was not real. I'm like, get out of here. Like this whole story just blew my mind. And then the one saying your life, the other one is jealous because the other one actually had a life throughout all this, was with Mary Jane. He had a job and all this other kind of stuff. And the other one got deprived of his life because he was gone for so long. And you see them again, they're fighting here. And then again, you see the jackal. This is the first appearance of the Scarlet Spider costume. The jackal designs him a costume. And he says, why not? You deserve everything that Parker and Riley have, no more. So this is another clone. This is Parker and Riley, of course, are the two. And then this is another one that, of course, Jackal made a costume for. This is when the clone comes back. So this is the 90s book. This is Spider-Man number 51, Power and Responsibility, Part 3. This also has a clone in it called Kane. Kane is another failed clone. That's the one you saw the jackal talking to. This clone ends up becoming Kane in the comics. And gets very confusing. Kane is all like, now he's kind of just like a weird mass of twisted flesh and everything like that because he kind of devolved. But he ends up being a third one inserted into all this because the jackal made more than one Spider-Man clone. There were two made. So one becomes Ben Reilly. The other one becomes Kane. So that is the book for this one. So it's Spider-Man number 51, just Spider-Man. This is when you had a whole bunch of different Spider-Man titles. You had Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, oh my God. So many different books. And then you can see right here, he got his own. Scarlet Spider got his own book. And then you see him in his different outfits. There's the hoodie outfit on the left up on the top. He's also in a red and black outfit on the top right. He was in another outfit on the bottom here. And then, of course, the Iron Spider as well. So he did get his own comics. down the road. These are also 90s books that came all out of that whole entire clone saga. And then this is just some of the word. Let's go over this. So Ben Reilly, genetic clone of Peter Parker, the superhero Spider-Man who went on to establish his own identity as the Scarlet Spider. Ben was created by Miles Warren, the supervillain known as the Jackal, to torment the hero, and seemingly died in their first encounter. The clone survived and exiled himself for 5 years. So he didn't die in the smokestack. He survived for 5 years, only returning to New York after learning that Peter Parker's Aunt May was sick. After making amends with Peter, Ben fought alongside of him as Scarlet Spider. For a brief time, Ben and Peter were tricked by Norman Osborn via sewer trainer to believe Ben was the real Peter Parker. So that was when he tried to convince Peter that he wasn't real, that Ben was the actual Peter Parker. Peter left New York with his wife, Mary Jane Watson, leaving Ben to pick up the mantle of Spider-Man. So for a while there, Ben became Spider-Man then. Peter left. He's like, I'm out of here. I don't need this anymore. He left New York, and Ben took over. During a subsequent confrontation against Osborn as the Green Goblin, Ben was impaled and died in Peter's arms, also discovering that Peter being the clone was a fabrication. So he died. Ben was later brought back to life by Miles Warren using a new cloning method and spent years being constantly killed and resurrected by his creator to improve on the cloning technology. Driven mad, Ben managed to escape and overthrow Warren, becoming the new Jackal. He founded New U Technologies in an ill-conceived attempt to use cloning technology for good, but was ultimately stopped by Spider-Man seeking redemption, but still mentally unstable. Ben moved to Las Vegas and resumed his identity as a Scarlet Spider. Came into conflict with a fellow clone, Kane. This is the other one. Now, Kane ended up, Ben kind of turned bad. Kane kind of turned good. So then Kane ends up going after Ben because he wanted to kill him, who had the moniker of Scarlet Spider. Ben was eventually left with a damaged soul after being killed and reborn one more time. Ben saw a chance at redemption during the return of the spider hunting inheritors, sacrificing himself to defeat Genix. Ben was then resurrected with cloning technology, which gave him a clean slate. Ben briefly readopted the Spider-Man mantle, becoming a corporate-sponsored hero for Beyond. So now he's working as they're paying him. This is more recent. So Ben came back again and then worked for Beyond to do their bidding, basically. They were paying him, and it was also had something to do with his wife. They were keeping his wife there, and his wife was sickly, so his wife couldn't leave the facility. They were keeping her alive, and that's part of the reason why Ben took this job. So he was corporate. And in exchange for being reunited with his lover Janine. Janine is sickly for being reunited. However, Ben turned against his predecessor after Beyond's machinations, erased his former memories. Further tormented after being mutated by a polymer, Ben became Chasm. So he is now. That's who he is now. He is now an anti-hero called Chasm. Joining forces with Madeline Pryor, the new queen of Limbo, basically hell, Ben and Janine helped concoct a plan to steal the memories of Jean Grey and Peter Parker by unleashing hell on Earth. Ben but was imprisoned in the newly installed Limbo embassy to New York City by the reformed Goblin Queen. So he's still around. He's Chasm now. And but I did just read in the latest issue of Spider-Man, as a matter of fact, the latest issue of Amazing Spider-Man, that he might be coming around. He might be reforming, I think. He might be coming around because he's seeing what the Goblin Queen really is, and he might be changing. So on the right, you see there some little stuff. So his first appearance, Amazing Spider-Man 149, as I told you, July 1975 as the Spider clone. Spider-Man 52 in 1994 is his next appearance as Scarlet Spider. Sensational Spider-Man 0 in 1995 as Spider-Man. Free Comic Book Day appearance, and then he was, of course, as a Jackal. If you want to read about him, I would tell you to start at the beginning. You can go into Marvel Unlimited. I'm sure you can probably get the book on Amazon Comixology, and definitely read the one with the Jackal. That is definitely worth reading if you want to know about Scarlet Spider-Man. And then I would follow up with that Spider-Man 52 because that's when he comes back. So nothing really in between about him. And then if you want to go through the whole Clone Saga, be my guest, but it is mind-blowing and it is very weird. So I will tell you, I didn't hate it, mostly because of the fact that they brought him back from the 1970s. So, but if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to do that. This is just going to go over the origins a little bit. Created him from the DNA, from Peter Parker's DNA by the Jackal. The clone was made to fight him as part of Jackal's torment of Spider-Man, whom he blamed for Gwen Stacy's death. In the fight, only one could survive in order to save Ned Leeds from a bomb. The Jackal activated the bomb, seemingly dying and killing the clone. Spider-Man retrieved the corpse. Okay, so that's right. I forgot about the Ned Leeds thing. There was a bomb. Both of them are caught in it. That is how supposedly the clone died. But then Spider-Man took the corpse and buried him at an industrial chimney. So that's what he did with the corpse. He thought he was dead, threw the corpse into the chimney. But apparently with the spider powers, he did not die. The clone, however, was alive and managed to survive due to the Jackal injecting him with something earlier while he was unconscious. So there you go. In an attempt to solve confusion between Peter and the clone, the Jackal dumped a different, already dead clone of Parker down the same smokestack. Okay, I forgot that. So the Jackal was the one who's changed him out. And he rescued him. So the Jackal got the body of Ben Reilly, and he put a different clone into there, and that was a clone that died. Okay. I wonder if they rewrote that. After regaining consciousness, this clone witnessed Peter Parker and Mary Jane in an embrace and concluded that he must be the clone, as the clone's feelings wouldn't have developed to the point where he could emotionally accept his feelings for Mary Jane. Clone spent the next 5 years in exile from New York, believing himself to be a worthless clone. He dubbed himself Ben Reilly, using his Uncle Ben's first name and his Aunt May's maiden name. After a period where he was stricken by influenza, he met scientist Seward Trainer, who inspired him with confidence to be his own person. Trainer also helped Ben by providing him with fake references to find work. Seward's references and Ben's own skills would allow him to work for a month or so at a time until people learned that his credentials were fake, forcing Ben to move on. Although he attempted to avoid attracting attention himself, Riley was unable to simply hide when his spider sense went off, resulting in helping the local police deal with various gangs during a stopover in Salt Lake City. During his time there, he found love with college student waitress Janine, but later she revealed that her true identity as Elizabeth Tyne, a fugitive who killed her father after enduring his repeating incestuous abuse. Although Ben spent some time living with Janine, she apparently committed suicide out of guilt at her past crimes. During this bleak time, Ben began working as a janitor in Portland High School using the alias Henry Jones, initially allowing him to be regarded as mentally handicapped until he rescued a woman from home invaders, which helped him realize that he could make a difference. Following this, he lived for a short time in Italy, where he worked as an English teacher, but was forced to leave after a mafia boss discovered Riley's past after his daughter expressed an interest in him. The mafioso learned about the gaps in Riley's work record. So a lot of history here. Expressed interest in Riley. Mafioso also learned about the gaps in his work record and then forced him to leave the city. And then you have Scarlet Spider. Returning to New York, when he found out about Aunt May's failing health, Ben came face-to-face with Peter and had to explain his reasons for returning. His presence also inspired Peter to get through his current dark mood and recent tragedies. After initial distrust of one another, Peter and Ben became friends and worked side by side as Spider-Man and Scarlet Spider. It was revealed by Seward Trainer that Peter was the clone and Ben had been the real Peter Parker all along. This drove Peter almost insane and left Ben stunned. So this was when that whole thing happened. Peter was literally Ben. So they switched it all. This was the mind-blowing part. This is the part that got very weird to me. And I was like, this is when I start kind of getting away from this. They agreed to keep their names. Since Ben still didn't feel like he deserved the name, Peter soon gave up the webs when he found out that Mary Jane was pregnant, leaving Ben as New York's only web slinger. While Peter was on trial for a murder he didn't commit, Ben Reilly took Peter's spot in prison, giving Peter the mantle of Scarlet Spider. While the police figured out how to prove Peter innocent, it was later revealed that another clone named Kane had committed murder, leading everyone to think it was Peter's fingerprint on the skeleton. Because again, there's the other clone. When Peter and Mary Jane leaving him, this is all the clone stuff, guys. Very confusing, very weird. With Peter and Mary Jane leaving New York to lead a more quiet life in Portland, Peter offered Ben his Spider-Man suit. Ben, having turned down Peter's original costume, continued to operate as a Scarlet Spider and joined the New Warriors, though none of the team members fully accepted him because he refused to reveal his identity. After Peter and Mary Jane moved away, however, he took the role of Spider-Man. He soon quit the New Warriors after Lady Octopus and Alistair Smythe ruined his reputation using a holographic copy. Riley concluded that the deception worked because he was too new to the group for them to trust him. With Peter and Mary Jane leaving, now leaving New York to a more quiet life in Portland, Peter offered Ben his Spider-Man suit. Okay. Becoming Spider-Man with Peter gone and Ben still feeling guilty over letting his Uncle Ben down, he decided to become Spider-Man again and make up for that one moment of inaction. Having become Spider-Man, Ben began to shape his own life. Between dyeing his hair blonde to distinguish himself from Peter, which didn't convince J. Jonah Jameson, and working as a barista at a local coffee house, The Daily Grind, he even started dating local university students Jessica Carradine, whom he ended things with when it revealed she was the daughter of a burglar who killed Uncle Ben. Oh boy. As the rumors of a new Spider-Man spread through the streets, Ben thought of contacting the Human Torch, but had no idea what kind of relationship he and Peter had. Human Torch eventually took the initiative and wrote a message to Spidey in the sky asking him to meet with him at the Statue of Liberty. Ben saw the signal and went. On his way there, Ben found Sandman, and the Silver Sable attacked Flint, unaware that the former criminal had reformed, which started a fight between the two. Ben was rescued by Johnny, who realized that he was indeed a different person to Peter Parker, and angrily asked Spider-Man who he was, but Ben said that he didn't have to explain himself to him. This is a little more of the comics here. So here you see this. Okay, this is when he gets the dead body. So right at the beginning of here, you're seeing Peter heading with the body over his shoulder to the factory, to the industrial park. And you see him over here. And this is when he throws, you see the panel in the middle of the bottom. He throws the body into the smokestack. So that is where he buries the body in the smokestacks and thinks that he is gone for good. So a lot, right? A lot. And that whole clone thing with Peter's not the real Peter, or he is it is very, very confusing. You literally have to go and read the entire Clone Saga, which I'm sure it's probably in a graphic novel, but it's probably this thick. So if you want to put yourself through all that, go right ahead. It got very weird at that point, and I was I mostly liked the Scarlet Spider thing just because of this, and because they continued the story from the Jackal story from the 70s. That's what attracted me to it. I didn't like what they did with it after that, and they went nuts with it and said, okay, Peter's not Peter, he's Ben, and this is that, and you were Ben the whole time, and I wasn't Peter, and then they moved away to Merritt to Portland. That got weird. So I just didn't like all that stuff. But yeah, so there you go. That is that is the very, very strange saga of the comic book version of the Scarlet Spider and how he came to be. So time to look at the card, guys. It's this week's new card, and it is the Scarlet Spider, the hoodie guy himself. He is a 4/5. Activate an exact clone of this to another location, which makes a lot of sense, I guess, right? He's a clone, and he has other clones. So that's what he does. Now, I think this might be a decent card. I don't know exactly where it's going to be used or how it's going to be used, but I think it's going to be a pretty fun card to play. Basically it ends up being, it's a 4/10. It's a 4/10 all in all, unless you're going to buff it somehow. I know a lot of people are thinking maybe using Gwenpool. You could go the Nakia Okoye route as well, but those are a little lesser known, they're not great. They're not great. But I think that's what people are going to look to do with this. Try to buff it somehow and get, the only thing with it is you're playing it on turn 4. You can do its thing and activate it on turn 5 or turn 6. So you're only really going to have one turn to buff this. So that doesn't work as well. You really have to be on curve with Gwenpool, because Gwenpool costs 4. So you have to get Gwenpool down. Hope she hits it. Then you're going to have to get him down on turn 5. Then you're going to split him on turn 6. That is the God draw. But how many times are you going to get that? That's the thing. How many times are you going to really get that card? So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be, but I don't know. Getting a clone of this, having a 4/10, having it go into another lane. Now that's going to be some RNG you're going to need to worry about too, is deciding where that's going to go and what place it's going to be at and stuff like that. You're not going to know. So it may go somewhere you don't necessarily want it to, but I don't know. I'm looking at this, I think, as being a fun card. I don't know exactly how I'm going to place it as far as being a good card. I think Symbiote is better because the way you can use him and the combos you can use him with. I think Arana is better, although I'm not impressed fully with Arana. Madam Web, for what she does in move, is probably better. So I don't know. I would probably say, looking at this, I think he might be fun right up there at Symbiote, but I would probably put him in middle of the pack as far as how good I think he's going to be. So, I would say, depending on whether or not, now I have 9 keys saved up, and that's what I'm using because I have no more tokens. So I have 1,000 tokens, but not enough to get a card. But I have 9 keys saved up, so I'm gonna key it. Hopefully, I'll get lucky. I got lucky the past 2 weeks and 1 keyed them. I'm hoping that that's the case. But the spotlight caches for him are pretty good. You can see some of the variants here, and the spotlight caches are Scar and White Widow, both very good cards right now. Scar is really good, can get very much discounted with a lot of these decks that are out there, and White Widow is a must-get card. That's when I would tell you definitely open the cache for, because she is a must-have card. She's just so good that you need to get that card if you don't have it. So definitely in that case, I would open up for it. If you do have the amount of keys to spend or caches and stuff, and you want to get Scarlet Spider, I would tell you to get White Widow. With the card Scarlet Spider, I would say to wait. If you're only going in it like I am to try to get Scarlet Spider, I would maybe tell you to just wait a few days. Wait and see how it gets played. And really, I know Cam Best says this all the time too. It's a good rule of thumb. It really is. Like a lot of the other creators tell you to wait. I know Alex Kocha does, Cozy does, and it's a good rule of thumb. It's a good rule of thumb to wait until at least like Friday to see how the card is played and see what it does and stuff for the game, see what people are using it for. You'll see some streamers doing it today in just about half an hour or so, playing it. I know Teddy Ninja always gets a card right off the bat. He's a very good streamer to watch. Who else? I'm trying to think of the Alex usually plays it right away on day one. So you'll see those guys playing right away, and you can make determinations for yourself by what they're doing. But I would tell you to wait on this just and see what people are going to be able to do with it. Can people find something that's going to be really steady with it? I'll read you off a deck real quick that I got from Glazer. Glazer's pod this morning, very good pod, by the way. His daily YouTube videos, Snap Judgments, always giving very good deck ideas and stuff like that. I got one of these from there. He put out a deck with him. It's Kitty Pride. It's basically a Kitty, Thena, Angela list. So it's Kitty, Thena, Angela, Jeff, Mysterio, Juggernaut, Hope Summers, Shang-Chi, Scarlet Spider, Gwenpool, Mockingbird, and Sasquatch. The whole gist of this here is to play the Kitty, Thena, Angela, which is very powerful. Jeff just gives you some movement. But then you want to play Gwenpool on 4 as your key card. And then even if you have Mysterio in your hand, hold it, because you want those Mysterios to get that bonus from Gwenpool. So then play the Mysterio out. Then you're going to be able to get like a pretty close to a free Mockingbird at the end. Have Scarlet Spider, play that down on turn 5. And then you have a Sasquatch in here that you can play as well. So just a big like last couple of turns. So it's, again, Kitty Pryde, Thena, Angela, Jeff, Mysterio, Juggernaut, Hope Summers, Shang-Chi, Scarlet Spider, Gwenpool, Mockingbird, Sasquatch. These are the kind of lists I think you're mostly going to see with this card, because you're going to have to buff it. You're going to have to buff it one way or the other. That's where it's going to give you the most. Now, Kieran Nimbus and I talked about this last night, and he said, when you think about it, it's like getting Doombots. You're getting, you're going to get another 5 point, like it's like getting the Doombots. You're getting 2, Dr. Doom gives you, 2 Doombots, right? Or 3 Doombots, right? No, I'm trying to think. No, he gives you 2. So you're getting 2 Doombots. It's kind of a similar thing. He's 5 power, so you're getting 2 of them. He also compared it to, Captain Marvel, right? Because Captain Marvel is a 5 power card, and she's going to fly to another location. Well, this is going to split, and one of those things is going to fly to another location. So in a way, he's correct. He's right. So if you look at it from that respect, and you could even play this in a deck like an Iron Patriot list, where you have the Patriot in there with all the cards that, like maybe with the Ultron bots and stuff with it. But you're gonna have all those cards in there that, that usually has Doom, because the Doom bots get the boost from Patriot. So you can do it in something like that, where the clone will get the boost, right? So look at it from that standpoint. I guess in a way, it does seem, you look at it from that, and it does seem a little bit better when you think of it that way. So, but I would tell you, if you have keys to spend, and you want White Widow, because we know that that's great. We know that's an A++ card. We know it is. So if you want it, get it for that. And then if you get Scarlet Spider, cool. If you get Scar, cool. If you don't have Scar, but if you want the, if you're going for this, go in it for the White Widow if you need it. That's what I would definitely tell you to do. So we'll see. We'll see how Scarlet Spider works out. I love the art. I love the card. I love the hoodie. You can even get shirts like that, which I saw in superhero shops that look awesome. it has the red underneath it, and then the blue hoodie on top, and got the blue hood. That's amazing. I think that's so cool. I always loved his look. I always did. I loved his look. I love the red. I love the blue hoodie. I thought I really think it's awesome. I loved his look. So there you go. That's Comics Corner. It's all about Scarlet Spider-Man will have his day today in Marvel Snap, and of course about the card as well. All right. We're getting into the home stretch, guys. I know we ran a little long, but that's because I had some interaction with the chat. Laura, hello, Laura. I'm going for Scarlet Spider. Awesome. Hello, Laura. How are you? Welcome to the chat. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. All right, it's Marvel Minute, guys. It's MCU Minute time to end up the show, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that's going on in the MCU. This is going to be a little more than 1 minute, though, because there's a lot of stuff happening. First off, we got this. If you didn't see it, go watch it. The Thunderbolts teaser trailer was released. It is very cool. A lot of stuff going on in this. Where's Bucky at? Like this kind of reminds you of the whole elevator scene in Captain America. There is going to be a lot of callbacks to this. A lot of things going on in this trailer. Valentina apparently bought the Avengers Mansion, that real big building that they had, of course, in the first 3 movies. She apparently bought it. These guys are apparently getting set up. So this group of people here, which is, you can see U.S. Agent, Yelena Belova, Bucky, of course, in the back, Red Guardian, and then that is Ghost without her mask. They are getting set up by someone. Most think it's Valentina, but they are getting set up. They are led to this building, this wherever this is, lab, whatever it is. And lo and behold, who's the person in this building that they're led to? Well, it's Sentry. She sets them up because she knows that Sentry can't be killed. When you first see Sentry, and he introduced himself as his alter ego, he just says his name. When you first see him, he's got a robe on, looks like a medical robe, shot full of bullet holes. Can't kill him with bullets. He's basically Superman in the Marvel universe, but he has that dark side, right? So apparently, Valentina is setting these guys up to go try to kill him, and maybe she does want them to kill him, get him out of the way as well. But obviously, they're probably going to fail, and we are going to see Sentry in all his red and blue glory. His yellow and blue glory. I can't wait. I am so excited to see Sentry. Bob is his name. So he comes and says that I'm Bob. Who are you? I'm Bob. What are you doing here, Bob? I don't know. So he's going to be, I can't wait to see him. And I don't know, maybe he teams up with them at the end. Maybe he joins them. And do you see the little asterisk next to the Thunderbolts thing? That's what's getting everybody, because nobody really knows what that means. What I feel it means is I think it means that they're not going to end up being called the Thunderbolts. I think they're going to be called that throughout this movie, but I think at the end they might end up becoming the Dark Avengers. Sentry was part of the Dark Avengers in the comics. That group was led by Norman Osborn. They won't do that because Norman Osborn obviously isn't in the MCU. Well, he was, but he's dead now. But he wasn't. He's not in the MCU, so they're going to have a different leader. So it could very well be Valentina that's taking Norman Osborn's place. But I think that's what they're going with. But if you haven't seen it, go check it out. This is the first Marvel movie that's coming out in 2025. So go check it out. I think it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. You love all these characters. They've all been seen before. U.S. Agent, of course, we saw him in that Falcon and Captain America, that Falcon and Bucky series on TV. Yelena, of course, was in Black Widow movie. Bucky's been playing that. They asked Bucky about it. He said, "Yeah, I've been playing this character for 14 years now." So he's pretty good with the character now. Ghost, of course, you saw her in Ant-Man. And then Red Guardian, of course, was also in the Black Widow film. So go check it out. It was very, very good, I thought. And I think it's going to be a fun movie. And there it is there. Someone wants the MCU's Thunderbolts dead in gritty first trailer. So I think it's going to be Valentina setting them up, but we'll see. And then this, Tom Holland, everybody's favorite Marvel Spider-Man actor, is signed on, rumored to be signed on, for 4 to 6 more Spider-Man films and 2 additional MCU films. So return to the franchise is one of the most demanded things, and seems like a deal has been locked. So this hasn't been confirmed. They usually never confirm these things, but it does look like Tom Holland will be with this franchise for a long time to come, which is good news. He's basically, look, when you lost Iron Man and you lost Captain America, and I've said this about the MCU kind of went downhill. You're taking two of the biggest people, you're losing two of the biggest actors and the biggest personalities. Robert Downey Jr. Now, of course, he's back playing Doctor Doom, but him and Chris Evans both leaving, I think was kind of what led to the Marvel universe being a little blah, a little not so great lately. And I think that that's part of the reason why, is because those two guys left. But now that Tom's here and he's going to be Spider-Man for a good while, the rumors are that Spider-Man 4, rather than being a grounded Spider-Man film, is what everybody kind of thought, because you saw, remember the end of Spider-Man, the last one where he was in his new apartment and nobody remembers him, and he's coming out and he's swinging with the new suit and everything that he just made. It kind of looked like he was going to be more ground level. And then there's rumors that it was going to spin off of Daredevil and he was going to team up with them to fight the Kingpin. Well, that now looks like Sony kind of nudged in and got their way, because now they're saying Spider-Man 4 is going to be a multiversal movie, and it's going to take place, of course, on Battle World, which is in between Doomsday and Secret War, and that Null, who is in the next Venom film, is going to be the big bad in the movie, which is cool. They're also saying Norman Reedus from Walking Dead is going to play his voice or be his voice. But so they're going to probably do the Null War thing, which is okay. That could introduce Tom Hardy. I'm fully expecting, if this is true, that at the end of the Venom movie that's coming up, we're going to see a post-credit scene with Tom Holland. And you remember on the last Marvel Minute, I talked to you guys about Tom Holland being spotted on going to a set filming in the producer's Sony producer's office. That's what they could have been doing, is a post-credit scene for Venom. And I fully kind of expect that to be the case if these rumors are true, that you will see then Tom Hardy's Venom somehow teamed up with Tom Holland in that movie. Tom and Tom will be paired up and fight against Null. And I do also think, because we're getting close to Secret Wars, that Peter will then get the Venom symbiote. So that's what I think will happen, which I don't think is a bad thing. I like the Venom symbiote. I think he's funny. Now, that is Tom Hardy's voice that the Venom symbiote uses, but I kind of like the Venom symbiote, how it talks to him and all that kind of stuff. I kind of like that. So if they're going to give Peter the black costume, that's when they're going to want to do it. And yes, so that's right. Laura, I just realized you're Laura from my Alliance, aren't you? Thinking to myself, when Laura came in, I'm like, wait a minute. I know a Laura. Are you Laura? I don't know if you're still in the chat, but if you are, you're Laura from the Alliance, right? Okay. Like, duh, who's Laura? And I'm like, see, I'm old. Don't turn 55. This is what happens. You start to get, gaps in your memory. Yes, there you go. I knew it. I'm looking at Laura's name. I'm like, you dummy. It's a Laura from the Alliance. Oh man. But anyway, thank you for coming. I appreciate you. But yeah, so I think that's what's going to happen. We'll see. And then of course, let's move ahead here. Have you watched Agatha? This is so good. I loved it. I loved the first two episodes. Oh my gosh. I love Catherine Hahn. She is phenomenal in this role. Nobody better I could have asked to play Agatha. And I had to go back and I had to find out where this whole Witch's Road thing came from. It is from an issue of Scarlet Witch from 2015. So if you want to read about the Witch's Road, if you're watching this and you don't really know where this is coming from and you want to read about the Witch's Road, this is where to check it out. Is the Scarlet Witch books from 2015. She walks the Witch's Road and she comes into contact with some different entities on this road that she's walking. So that's where that whole thing stemmed from. I'm just going to see real quick. I want to look up to see if I have, it's going to probably escape me here, but let me see if I have it. I think I have it at some point. But yeah, this was fun. I really love this. I can't wait for the next episode. I am truly excited. I love them singing. They did a great job singing that Witch's Road song. And then of course the 7 that are coming after them are just 7 different spirits or witches that are coming after them in the house. And how about let's go through some picks. Spoiler alert, if you don't know who the kid is on the left, they call him Teen. Guys, if you play Marvel Snap, who is that? We know who this is. We know who this is. The thing is how did he come to be? That's Wiccan. Could they have chosen a better actor to look like Wiccan? Holy cow. Like, I mean, this is spot on. The curly black hair. He is perfect for Wiccan. He looks amazing. And he's in this thing as teen. They're not referring to him as anything else. And he can't say his name. When he goes to talk, he gets that little spell that comes across his mouth and cast on him. And the question is, did someone who cast a spell on him that he can't talk? And Agatha sees that and says, that's, interesting, because she can see or sense that there's something going on here. And then there's another point when he's trying to tell her things about himself in the car, and then you can't see him. You can see him talk, but you can't hear him, what he's saying. So he cannot reveal who he is. Now, the writing, some people had said, might be Scarlet Witch, that she cast that spell on him so that he can't speak. Some are saying it's Mephisto. The background story of these two boys, they came from Mephisto. Scarlet Witch basically asked Mephisto to give her children and made a deal with the devil, so to speak, and that's where they came from. The thing is, he's older now. Why would that be when the last time Agatha took place right after WandaVision? Why is he older now? How did he get here? Why does he want to go to the Witch's Road? I don't know. A lot of mysteries we're going to have to figure out, but he's a fantastic Wiccan. I think they picked a perfect actor to play him. Oh, man. This is a really interesting rumor. This is a really interesting rumor. If this is true, I'm going to go absolutely nuts. If we find out, because a lot of people are wondering who she is, right? A lot of people are wondering who exactly she is. Now, they are showing you, this is, of course, Aubrey Plaza. They are saying in the list she's playing Rio Vidal. Now, if you look in comics, Rio Vidal is a Irish warlock. Rio in the comics is male, and he's in that same Scarlet Witch book that she does the Witch's Road walk. He's the one that's behind Scarlet Witch's problems. So she fights him inside the whole Witch's Road thing, and she defeats him. Now, they're saying she's Rio Vidal. I don't think that's true. I think she's another. Now, some are saying again, Mephisto's name is always brought up whenever there's something hellish going on. They're saying she could be Mephisto. This rumor here. Now, when you look at this pick, who in Marvel? Now, think Marvel Snap. Who in Marvel Snap does she look like? I know there's some people in the chat. You guys can throw it out there if you know. Who in Marvel Snap does she look like? I am going to go literally insane ballistic if this is true. Doesn't she look like Lady Death? Long black hair, the skulls in front of her there and stuff like that. Now, this isn't from Agatha. This is just a picture somebody found. But holy crap, if she ends up being Lady Death, oh my God. I have wanted Lady Death in these movies since Thanos came along. I was wondering, why the hell isn't Lady Death in this? And I get it. I know why they couldn't put her in the film with Thanos. It would have been too much. People would have been weirded out by it a bit if they didn't read the comics, wondering why the hell is Thanos listening to this visage? So I get why they skipped it. But if she ends up being Lady Death, I'm going to be insanely happy. She would make an awesome Lady Death. Aubrey Plaza is fantastic, and I love her in this role. Obviously, in the role, she is an enemy of Agatha's. Or she could be a former partner / lover of Agatha's as well. A scorned ex-lover of hers, and she's just trying to kill her. She just wants her dead. And Agatha weasels her way out of it by saying to her, you don't want to kill me this way. This has no honor. And then she ends up going on the Witch's Road to try to escape her. But as you see in the preview, she won't. But, oh, my God. There's a part in the Witch's Road that they showed in the trailers where she comes out of the ground. I'm telling you, man, if they make her Lady Death, oh, boy, I'm in. Oh, man, am I in. But I love it. I think it's been great so far. I love it. If you haven't watched it, do check it out. It is really, really good. I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but now they are saying that it has been talked about that it is a trilogy. WandaVision, Agatha All Along, into the Vision Quest. and it's probably going to be, they did an interview with the actress who plays Scarlet Witch recently. I think she was on The Late Show. I can't remember. It might have been Jimmy Kimmel, but one of them was asking her, but you're dead, aren't you? And she's like, I think so. I think I'm dead. And he's like, but now they're doing all this stuff with it. And he's like, well, have you gotten a phone call that's saying you're not dead? And she's like, and she kind of wouldn't say. We all know she's going to come back. We all know she's going to come back. So probably after this trilogy, which is going to end sometime before Secret Wars, Scarlet Witch will more than likely be back, and they'll end up bringing her back at that point in time. But yes, if you haven't checked it out, check out Agatha, check out the Thunderbolts trailer, so that is your MCU. Well, it was more than a minute. And the pod went long. I apologize, but I had a lot of stuff to talk about with Scarlet Spider-Man and all that good stuff. So I apologize for running a little long, but that is sometimes, unfortunately, how it goes. All right. So that is going to do it for this week's episode of the pod. Thank you all for coming out. I appreciate all of you. Had more people in the chat than I ever had before. I appreciate you all. I really do. Now, next Tuesday, I'm going to have to move it, unfortunately, probably to nighttime again. I'm going to have to do it prime time because next Tuesday I'm back to work. So I won't be able to do it in the afternoon. I will have to do it at night, probably sometime around 8 o'clock. So it'll probably be 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week. That's going to be a whole new season where we're going to be looking at the new symbiote cards for next month and Agent Venom, one of my favorite Venom characters, good old Flash Thompson Venom, we'll be talking about on next week's comic book corner. I'll have a whole new top 5 for you. And of course, my weekend snap in the meta. Come back and see if I reach my goal of 93, whether I'm going to get it or not. Come back and check it out. Great show as always. Thank you so much, Laura. Appreciate you. Thank you, Space Monkey, for hanging out. You were here since the very beginning. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I appreciate you all taking the time out of your day, wherever you may be, to listen to the show, to participate. Thank you so much for being out here. It means the world to me. It really does. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, please make sure to like the video. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already done so. Liking the video helps it get out there more and helps more people see it. Also, if you're listening on audio, I love all you audio people. Thank you so much for listening to me there. Give me some comments. Leave me some comments. Leave me some comments in the chat as well here, or in the not the chat, but the comments section below the video. And if you checked it out later, I appreciate that. Check out my interview with Kier Nimbus, which is out now. That's on audio and YouTube right now. That was from last night. It was a great conversation I had with him. And then I will be talking to Snap content creator Lufku will be on my show tomorrow night. So another one from me. This is going to be a long week, guys. A lot of podcasts this week. I'm also going to have an OTA report because we are getting an OTA on Thursday. So there will be that'll be just audio, 15, 20-minute OTA report unless something big is in there. But I'll be doing that on Thursday, Lufku tomorrow. And then that will be that for me for this week. All right, all. Appreciate you. Love you guys. And I will talk to you. Well, Laura, I'll see you in the Alliance. And the rest of you guys, I'll talk to you all on the next episode of Snap Decisions. Have a great one, guys. Take care. Be kind to one another always, especially on the socials. Be safe. And hopefully, I will see you all on the next episode of Snap Decisions. This is your Snap DJ signing off.
If only I had Spidey senses.